Alright, what's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be working on the brakes. So these are the PBR calipers on like an 03-04 Cobra. So I got them off the car here. These calipers are really good. They're desirable ones. So in this day and age of everyone just throwing away and replacing, we want to rebuild. Rebuilding calipers is really easy. There's only, two moving parts, the pistons. So we got a seal kit from Rock Auto. So one seal kit does one piston. So it comes with a new O-ring that goes around the piston and then a new dust seal. So we got the O-ring and then we got the dust seal. So on these ones, you can see that my dust seal in several places all chewed up, melted, probably melted from high brake applications. So we're gonna pop these pistons out, get new seals put onto them, and put everything back together. It's super simple. So when popping out the pistons, you want to have a block of wood on there, especially if you're doing like a two piston. So you don't want it just to shoot out and either damage the other side, or heaven forbid you have your finger in there, hit your finger. So you put a block of wood in there, so when it pops out, it hits up against that. But also for two pistons, if you pop the one out, you can't pop the other one out because you now have opened up the cavity and it won't build any pressure. We'll put air to the in port and we'll pop these guys out. And just like that. Here, that one popped first, and then the second one. Alright, I still can't get them to come out with using the 2x4, so I got a couple of thinner pieces, and we're going to do it all over again. There we go. So, one piston there, two pistons. So in order to replace these, you do need to get the pistons to come all the way out because it kind of seals. But there's a little lip in there that these go in. Now that we got them out, you can really see that one's kind of like two pieces. This one's got some burn marks going on it. All right, then the other seal is kind of inside in a little groove. So there's that guy. This one still looks in really good condition, but we will go ahead and replace it with new. So these calipers were new when I bought them. And that was probably 8 years ago, thereabouts. So they've seen only autocross events, but a little bit of wear and tear and some high heat applications. Alright, so I'm going to get this cleaned up a little bit, and we will go ahead and reassemble this. So I'll add that you can do these to any calipers. These aren't particularly, this isn't just for these Cobra calipers. This can be done on pretty much any calipers. Times that you would not want to do this is if there is a lot of rust and pitting going on your piston or in your caliper. A lot of times you can also buy new pistons. Rock Auto, I've seen, has new pistons for some calipers. I bought new pistons for the calipers on my Toyota. So that is a replaceable item that's pretty easy to find, along with the seals. The seals I got on Rock Auto. You can usually find the seals at even a regular parts store. So it's definitely beneficial to rebuild your brakes over buying new ones if you have high-end brakes. If you just have normal calipers off the shelf, then maybe just buy some more that are already loaded for like a daily driver type of car. If you have calipers that you can't find anymore, so like the calipers on my Rabbit, I couldn't really find them, so I rebuilt them. It was fairly easy to find the seals in order to rebuild them over trying to find the calipers. One thing that I like to do, just to make it a little bit easier, I'll put a little bit of grease on the seal, so that'll just make things go in fairly easy. Seals should be lubed up anyways, but this will make putting the piston in nice and easy. So we'll put this seal into its groove, and then we'll put a little bit of grease onto the dust boot. And I'll smear a thin coat of grease over the piston. And for putting the piston in, you want the open side to be going towards the brake pad, and then this is the side that the fluid pushes on. So you kind of just work it in there. And also you'll see that this has a groove on it. So we'll be getting it down to where the dust seal goes into that groove. If you can kind of see that. So we got the seals in, it's gone into the lip on the piston. So we got the pistons all the way in. That will give us maximum room for the new brake pads to go in there. So speaking about brake pads, I was previously running the Carbotech AXs. I'm going to switch to the G-Lock R6, I believe. Yeah, which is pretty much exactly like the AXs that I had. They are also an autocross pad. No real reason why I'm switching. I really like the Carbotechs, but I just wanted to try something a little bit different. I think there's ties to Carbotech with these. I think I heard like some of the same people used to work at Carbotech and now had went and started their own company, G-Lock. So we will get these installed in these calipers to help reduce any squealing of the brakes. We'll spray some quiet brake on the back of them. Let that dry. So yeah, on these brakes, the back of the pads have these little clip thingies that it snaps into the piston and then into the caliper. Not all brake pads have that. So we'll then slip that guy over like that. Then we got the retaining pin, which we'll clean up and put a little bit of grease on. Don't think it really slides too much on it, but it's always good to grease up pins. This guy come through. And this caliper is now done. So I'll finish up this one. We got some new rotors to go on the car, and then we'll get these installed on there with them. All right, we got the brakes installed on the car. So some things to remember. Make sure that you put the bleeder to the top. That way you can get out any air that is in the caliper. You'll need to push the pistons all the way in to get it over top of the brake rotor. Make sure that you torque the bolts back there, and then make sure that you go around bleeding. So you want to start with the brake the furthest from the master cylinder, so that would normally be the rear passenger side. So you go rear passenger, rear driver, front passenger, then front driver being your last one. If you have ABS, things might be slightly different, but that's the normal order that you usually go for brakes. Unless you're using like a brake power pack or some other thing, make sure that you have an assistant to push down the pedal to get out all the air. You don't want to suck air back into the caliper when you let go of the pedal. So yeah, so that's how you rebuild the calipers and some tips for getting them installed. As you saw, it's not a very difficult process, so I highly recommend you to go try it yourself and save yourself some cash. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one.